Hey freshmen, this is Wednesday, the 7th, and we're working on the standard analyzing how and why individuals develop throughout a story. So this is RL3. Students, you should be able to choose a favorite character from books 1 through 122 or book 24. You're going to be creating a steel chart, analyzing characteristics and how and why he or she does what he or she does, and why and so what. We're going to be working on a worksheet, several different worksheets about the three main characters in the Iliad. Vocabulary 6 worksheet is due next Monday, and the grammar packet is going to be due next Tuesday. I'm extending it, okay? All right, so having said that, we are going to have our book out, page 122, and you're going to be looking at the characters. So think about the three characters that are talked about the most in the Iliad, and right here on this worksheet I put Hector, Achilles, and Agamemnon. We're going to be focusing on this page first, and that's part of your packet. Looks like this. All right, everyone should have their own, and you are going to be working together, yet working on your own independent worksheet to get full credit, okay? So I wanted to give you a few examples of the STEEL format. And STEEL basically means what a character says, what they think, the effects that they have on others, the actions that they do, and what they look like by description of the author. So I want to go in a little detail about this. If you look at this excerpt right here, you'll see a little bit of extra information to help explain some things. You are to choose any one of those three characters, so Hector, Achilles, or Agamemnon, because there's a lot said about those particular characters. And I'm kind of giving you a little extra information here, okay? So on this part right here, you are going to be taking quotes from the book. So it's not necessarily who says something unless you're looking for something that they say. A lot of times it's not going to be in quotation marks. You are looking for information to prove the point, okay? So once you've chosen your character up here, you're going to be looking for examples here, and you're going to be writing the examples, and they're going to be in quotes because you're taking proof from the book, okay? This part right here is the page and line numbers. So you're going to tell me where you found it, and then you're going to write information, and I'm going to go over those, okay? So when a character says something, you're going to put his personal quote there. Then you're going to go to the page and line where you got that from. And then an example would be, this quote tells me that this character is or feels this. So what are they saying? Why are they saying it? Those are things that you want to answer, right? The next one is about thoughts. So what is that character thinking? You're going to put that there, the page and line number again, and then you might want to say something like this. This character is thinking about blank. Or this character thinks blank about blank. The next component is effects. How does this character affect another one? How do they react to each other? So again, you're going to take a quote from the book. You're looking for lines that show interaction between that character and someone else, and you're going to write it here. Again, note the page and line number, and you might want to write a sentence that's like this. Blank and blank, so Achilles and Agamemnon, for instance, treat each other blank because of this. Explain that. The next one is actions. What does the character do? What does the character do? So there's a lot of imagery that they'll talk about when they're doing certain things. Page, line number. We learned that blank is blank when he does this. Okay, so we can answer it that way. You have your own ways that you can answer it, of course. These are just sentence frames for you. The last one is about looks, and this is more about what the author says. We talked a little bit about stock epithets and how they used, for instance, when they talk about Apollo, they call him Archer of Heaven, right? So those are descriptors that the author gives to help remind people about that character. So you might want to look at certain ones, right? I see one right here about Achilles. So take a look to see what they're talking about, okay? Okay. Again, page and line number, and then again, we're thinking about what the author, why did the author call them this? Why did they call Apollo the archer god? Because he threw arrows at people, right? So you might say something like blank looks like this or has features of this when the author says this about that character, okay? So you can come back to this in Google Classroom if you want to come back to the video. If I don't have it in Google Classroom, I'll explain it to you guys later on where you're going to find this video, okay? The next one that you're looking at, I believe, is this one right here. Okay, so again, you're going to put the title of the text, the Iliad. The author's name is Homer. And then you're going to choose one of the characters. Okay, from there, you're going to write about what they were like at the beginning. And again, it says provide evidence from the story to support your conclusion. I need quotes here, explain. Quotes here, explain that. Then you're going to explain how this character changed. How did they change? And why? Why do we think they changed? I want you to especially think about why the author did these particular changes. Why did they develop the story the way they did? Okay. The last one is about plot structure and the diagram. So even though we're looking at only 3 books out of 24, we are going to try to summarize the basic part of the story that we've read at least, okay? So you're going to start with, again, everyone has to do this so you guys can work together. You can choose the protagonist. Some of you might want to choose Achilles. Some of you might want to choose Hector. It doesn't matter. But if you choose one, whether they're good or bad, you're going to choose the other one as the opposite. Or Achilles, and you could put Agamemnon as another, that's okay. But make sure that your focus, if you're going to be focusing on one character like Achilles, this rising action in this storyline is going to look different than somebody doing Hector as the protagonist. Setting is going to be always the same. Take a look at where is the story coming from and the place. Then you're going to talk about the exposition of the story here. Talking about the rising action, things that are going on, the climax, the turning point, what finally happens, and then what falls into place leading to the end of the story, okay? Some other things to think about are the theme and how to figure out the theme. It's giving you information on how to do that, okay? All right, there shouldn't be any questions about what we're doing, so good luck on this. Again, work together.